Okay, welcome everybody to our webinar for the 2728 Long Island Sound research call for pre-proposals. Um, we'll start off, we'll introduce ourselves, and then we'll go through what we're going to cover and cover it. We'll do a demonstration of the Sea Grant and then have a question and answer period at the end. So I'm Lane Smith. I'm the Research and Fellowship Coordinator at New York Sea Grant at our offices at Stony Brook University and Stony Brook, New York. And Syma, I'll take it over to you.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm glad to meet you virtually. I'm Syma Ebbin. I'm the Research and Fellowship Coordinator at Connecticut Sea Grant. I'm located here at University of Connecticut at the Avery Point campus.
And we're honored to have the director of Connecticut Sea Grant joining us today. And Sylvain, if you want to make any comments, please
Everyone,
introduce
I'm
yourself.
I'm Sylvain Geese. I'm director for Connecticut Sea Grant, and happy to see a lot of people interested in this webinar.
All right. Thanks, guys. So to get started, first thing I just wanted to mention, I'm going to share my screen real quick. Uh, I wanted to announce, does everybody see that?
Not yet.
Oh, there it is. Does
There it
everybody
is.
see the screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. So just wanted to mention that the Long Island Sound Research Conference is going to be held in June 4th to 5th in Mystic, Connecticut, for the 2026 Research Conference. So I hope many of you will register to attend and or submit an abstract. Um, we're in the early stages of planning, but abstracts submissions will open in February 16th, and the deadline to submit abstracts will be April 3rd. We'll be sending out more details about the conference in coming weeks, including information about registering, the costs, the agenda, and whatnot. We're still working on that, but we'll be keeping you posted about that. And so keep an eye out that and save those dates. Um, Next, we're going to get started on what the presentation. Before I start, I just wanted to ask real quickly, and you can answer in the text, how you learned about this RFP. Did you get it through the email announcement list? Because I know many of you, I think, are on the RFP email list. Or did you learn it from any other way or through other?
Maybe you could say what email list, because I also have one. So you might just
Yeah,
New York
so
or Connecticut
you could
Sea
just
Grant.
quickly mention maybe in the chat, Connecticut or
Mm.
New York email list or social media or some other. And if you're interested in being added to the email list, I'll give you my email address, and someone can post her email
Lane,
address.
those are in they're right there, right, first of all, right in front of you on the screen, but they're also in the PowerPoint. But I'm happy to
Yes.
put it in. You want us to put it in the chat? Is that it?
Yeah, just before we finish, we'll put our emails in. And you can, if you're not on the email list for either Connecticut or New York and you want to be added, you can just send an email to either Simra and I, and we'll add you to it. So, all right, good. That's good to see. All right. All right, so we'll get started and go through the RFP real quick. Um, Let me just, and then we'll do questions and answers. So we'll go through the 2728 call for proposals. After we do a brief introduction and background on Sea Grant and Long Island Sound, we'll walk through some registering for a Sea Grant and submitting, and then go through some questions. If you have a question while we're going through this, can you just use the raise your hand feature in Zoom? Since I have my presentation open and I only see some of you, Syma, if you can just shout out to me if you see a raise your hand on one of them, so I'll be
I
aware.
don't see it.
All right. Good. Nobody has questions yet.
There is react. Let's see. Yeah, there's no raise your hand that I can see.
Yeah, there's a raise your hand.
Yeah, people should have that. It should either be they should be able to see that. So if you see that on their profile, just let me know. Similar, just feel free to add anything if I'm missing anything. So
You just switch over to the PowerPoint maybe then.
yeah, are people seeing that yet?
No. No, we're seeing the we see the website.
Eric also raised a hand.
Eric, yeah, I can monitor
This
that.
is a test. This is a test. This is only a test. Thank you.
There we go.
Hey,
Everybody
Eric.
see the
It's
presentation
working.
now?
Now you know how to take it, do it. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
All
right.
So you're going a little fast. Did you talk about Sea Grant? Go back to the last one if you wanted to. Or
I'm trying to go back.
Okay, there you
It's
go.
not letting me go back. All right. All right. So we'll introduce Sea Grant, Long Island Sound Partnership, go through the calls, and submitting through Sea Grant. Go through this timeline, show you some links, and then do a question and answer session. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Sea Grant program, it is a national program. It was originally established in 1966 by Congress. It's modeled after the land grant program. The official name is the National Sea Grant College Program. It is a federal NOAA, Department of Commerce, and state partnerships based at one or more university. It funds research in coastal and marine science, and it in New York, it's a cooperative program between SUNY and Cornell University, and we have offices at Stony Brook and throughout the state. And in Connecticut, it's a partnership between UConn and NOAA. Is there any other partnership in Connecticut?
No.
No. Okay. There are 34 programs in the Sea Grant network. All of the coastal and Great Lakes states have a Sea Grant program, and it draws on a network of about 3,000 scientists, engineers, public outreach experts, students, and all geared to understand and conserve and wise use of America's coastal resources. Sea Grant generally is based on funding research and also engages in extension of that research and in education programs. One of the main characteristics of Sea Grant is forming partnerships with coastal partners in each of the Sea Grant programs. New York and Connecticut has many partners, and one of the main partners is with the estuary programs through EPA. And so in this case, Sea Grant has both Connecticut and New York has a partnership with the Long Island Sound Partnership. And this research call is through this partnership. So this is an EPA grant that we receive, and we use this grant to run this research program. And all the research projects that we fund are subawards on this grant. So when you get funded through this grant, you are a sub-award, and so when you report to us, we also have to report to EPA. The Long Island Sound Partnership was formed by EPA. It's a bi-state partnership consisting of federal and state agencies, user groups, concerned organizations, whose goal is to restore and protect the sound and maintain a healthy, functional sound ecosystem. A comprehensive management plan was developed in 1994. It was revised in 2015, and then it was revised again in 2025 with ambitious goals to progress through 2035. So this research call is requesting pre-proposals for research to address the revised 2025 CCMP, and we'll be showing the link for that later on. So the CCMP has four major objectives: clean waters and healthy watersheds, to restore and maintain water quality in the Long Island Sound and its watershed, thriving habitats and abundant wildlife to restore and protect health and resilience of habitat and wildlife in Long Island Sound and its ecosystem, sustainable and resilient communities to empower Long Island Sound communities to plan and respond for environmental challenges that prioritize the well-being of all, and then an informed, engaged public to inspire and empower public to appreciate, value, protect the sound and the waters that flow into the sound. And each of these objectives have action items that are specifically addressed trying to achieve these goals. This is some of the outline of some of these action items for each of these four. I'll show you in more detail. I'll show you a link to this that has more of this. So the funding schedule is for a 2-year project research period that begins in January 2027 and goes through goes through 2028, December 2028. So it's January 27, December 28. You can apply for a 1-year project or a 2-year project. This RFP was released on the 15th. Pre-proposals are due on March 19th. Those who are encouraged to submit full proposals, they're due on July 17th. If you had received this through the email list, the full RFP was attached to that email, so you should have a copy to that. So you should use that RFP for your guide to submit your pre-proposal. People who are encouraged to submit full proposals will then receive guidance for full proposal preparation and submission. Preliminary proposals must follow the format and categories. So as you see here, this is the some of the outline of what you need to provide. There's no appendices, attachments, no web links are allowed, and when you submit, you need to make sure everything is your final version and follows the format that's in the RFP. So the topic areas follow the CCMP.
Hey, Wayne, could you just go back? Because I just wanted to give a little more chat about that, if we could.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to say the pre-proposal is required in order to be invited to submit a full proposal. But if you go through it, you'll see that every part is delineated. I just wanted to show this is the components that are required to be in that pre-proposal. The description of the project is limited to 2 pages. So any extraneous documents or information that you add that doesn't fit in one of these or that exceeds that 2-page limit for those items will be truncated and may actually lead to the proposal being thrown out. So it's super important that you look at this checklist of of items that are required. It starts out with, the title, and the title is limited to 275 characters. The investigators, and we'll get into eligibility. Really, this is only a pre-proposal, so we need a quick cut at your budget. It's, usually budgets, once you flush it out, may deviate, but the idea is to have that deviation be fairly minor from what you're proposing in your pre-proposal. And then the description of the project, as I suggested, is limited at 2 pages. And so, we'll go through maybe some of these things. The next one is the topics that you have, but it's really important in this case to be very specific about how your research is aligning to that CCMP, to what you're trying to do, because at this stage, the relevance to the CCMP is one of the driving parts of that evaluation. So this is a fairly critical slide, and I wanted to take an extra moment. Sorry, Lane.
No problem. That's fine. So the purpose of the call is to support research that integrates information that helps management of the Long Island Sound. So it has to be actionable, and it has to extend the ability of managers and other end users to make informed decisions, to take appropriate management actions to reduce or mitigate stressors and enhance the health and sustainability of the sound. The topics are following the objectives and action items in the CCMP, which is linked here. So you want to look at those objectives and action items and see where your research would fit in addressing those. And so the point is that this is applied research. You need to engage end users. If you go to our websites, we have, if you follow our staff links, you can find links to some of our extension specialists who have knowledge of the end user communities, and they can help you identify end users if you need assistance with that. But any state, municipal, county, federal government, or private, non-governmental organizations would be end users, could be land users, landowners, resource managers, planners, businesses, educators. Those are all end users that could use the results of your research to address the management or issues that they are dealing with related to the sound. So you need to identify who those are going to be, who's going to use your research, how they're going to use it, why is it what you're providing valuable and useful. For this call, we're anticipating about $5.5 million to cover all of the projects. Projects can be 1 or 2 years. Proposals of any amount are welcome up to $1 million for the entire project. That is $500,000 per year. That includes all direct plus indirect costs. So you can't do 900,000 one year and 100,000 the next year. It's a cap of 500,000 per year for 2-year projects. If you propose a project that has over 250,000 per year, you're required to utilize interdisciplinary approaches to complex problems, have interdisciplinary collaborative research teams, produce outputs with the potential for high impact. And this should be clearly described in the proposals. This call requires that proposals include a 50% non-federal match for their requests. So $1 in non-federal match for every $2 of federal funds requested. More details on this is provided in the full proposal guidance. Pre-proposals are eligibility for pre-proposals are in the following order: faculty at universities and colleges, researchers at non-for-profit research institutions, researchers who are personnel, state or local agencies, and researchers at for-profit institutions or companies like consulting firms and whatnot. Eligibility is not limited to individuals in New York or Connecticut, but the projects must be related to Long Island Sound. So researchers from other states can apply, but their project has to apply to Long Island Sound. Applicants, which are PIs and co-PIs and collaborators, their primary affiliation must be at a United States institution. Federal employees and institutions are not eligible to receive compensation equipment or any budget items, but federal employees can serve as co-PIs or associate investigators. They just can't receive any funds on the budget. Connecticut and New York Sea Grant staff cannot serve as principal investigators or co-PIs or associate investigators and are not eligible to receive funding. They could be involved with the project, but they're not part of the personnel. Students cannot serve as principal investigators, co-PIs, or associate investigators. Some of these projects might be master's or PhD student projects, and though they might be doing much of the grunt work and day-to-day work of the research for their project, they're still listed as students and not as investigators. Members of the Long Island Sound Partnership Science and Technical Advisory Committee may serve as PIs and co-PIs, provided they meet the criteria A through D above. Any questions? Okay. So all the pre-proposals that are submitted and accepted, if you all pre-proposals are screened to make sure they meet all the requirements. They will be screened by a panel that will consist of Connecticut and New York Sea Grant staff and EPA staff, representatives from the DEC and Connecticut DEEP, and a few peers, scientific peers from unaffiliated institutions. And the panel will meet, will go through all the submissions, and they will be scored based on the following criteria that you see here. The main heaviest weighted is the engagement of users and usefulness of the anticipated results to inform the advancement of Long Island Sound and its resources, rationale and alignment to the CCMP, and the likelihood of success in fulfilling the objectives and hypotheses. Each panel member will give a score, so 1 to 10, which is 100%, and each pre-proposal will average all of those scores, and those averages will be ranked. So in the end, each pre-proposal will have an average score based on all the reviewers' scores, and they'll be ranked, and the top ranked pre-proposals will be encouraged to submit a full proposal. How many that will be will depend on the budgets and how much we have available to pay for research. So it could be around 8 to 12 or somewhere around there, maybe as many as 14 full proposals encouraged. You will need to submit your pre-proposal on EC Grant. I'll go through the whole EC Grant process. It requires you create a user account at EC Grant, and I'll go through that. If you are serious about submitting a pre-proposal, I would recommend registering for your account today, tomorrow, soon. Do that first, get that out of the way, and and then come back later to submit your pre-proposal. So as you see from the schedule, we've released the RFP on the 15th. Today is our first informational webinar. The next one is next week, Thursday, the 29th at 11 a.m. We'll go over this again, so feel free to join us again if you want to go over it again. Pre-proposals are due Thursday, March 19th through EC Grant, and your pre-proposal must be submitted by 5 p.m. At 5 p.m., the submission closes, so you're not even able to submit. It'll go off the page, and you'll be out. So make sure that you submit early. If you submit your pre-proposal and if you realize you made a mistake, you had the wrong figure, you discovered a typo, you can submit an updated version so long as it's before the deadline. And you can keep doing that as many times as you need to if it's before the deadline. And we just use the most recently submitted version for the review purposes. Approximately May 14th, we'll notify investigators whether you're encouraged or not. And May 29th and June 15th, approximately, Sea Grant will distribute brief summaries of the panel discussion for your information. Those days are approximate. Sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to get those to you. So we appreciate your patience on that. For those who are encouraged to submit full proposals, they're due July 17th, again through EC Grant, and there'll be a new posting on EC Grant for full proposals, and it'll be a similar process. And by October 16th, give or take, we will notify investigators about whether they're funded or not. And by November, peer reviews and a summary of full proposal review panel results will be shared. Between July and October, that's when we're going to be doing a mail peer review. All full proposals are reviewed by academic peers, and the goal is to get 3 reviewers for each proposal. And then we have a technical review panel, which will have a discussion and review the technical merits of the proposal. At the time of when we notify PIs, we'll have a full proposal webinar and go through the whole full proposal guidance. So we'll provide details about the technical review panel and the peer review and what the criteria will be for reviewing the full proposals. And January 1st, 2027, year 1 funding starts. This is all dependent on availability of funding. Actually, we have our funding, so I think that doesn't apply in this case. So we will be January 1st, project start. Before your project starts, you can collect environmental data. You need to fulfill the QAP requirement, and the QAP is a quality assurance project plan that has to be submitted and approved by EPA before you can collect environmental data. So if that's not done by January 1st, you can do other aspects of your project. other than the environmental data collection. Once your QAP is approved, you can do the environmental data collection. At the full proposal stage, the guidance and the webinar for that will provide more details about the QAP. And January 1, 2028, year two funding starts for 2-year projects. And that is assuming that you have made year one progress. There will, by October 2027, you will be required to submit a progress report. Again, details about reporting will be provided with the full proposal guidance and the full proposal webinar that we will hold. So the submission website is here. The Long Island Sound Partnership, you should check that out. This is the link to the CCMP. This is Connecticut and Sea Grant and New York Sea Grant's website. I'll show you those in a minute. So before we go through the EC grant, are there any questions? This is our contact information. Syma is at syma.ebbin@uconn.edu. I'm at lane.smith@stonybrook.edu. This contact information is in the RFP. You can contact us at any time if you have any questions or need any guidance while you're preparing your pre-proposal.
Eric Schultz has a question, and there's some questions in the chat.
All right, let's do some questions, and then we'll go over EC grant, and we'll show you some of the links and whatnot. Eric.
Right. Thank you, Lane, and thank you, Syma, for playing Lane's wing person.
I made the PowerPoint. I just want to say.
Okay. All right. Well, it was fantastic. So if a no cost extension is approved for a grant on which I am a PI, am I unable to act as PI on another grant that would begin before the previous extended grant has ended?
No, you can apply to be on another project while you're still working on your current project.
Okay. Thank you.
And we have a question asking if we can make the slides available, and certainly we can post these slides on both our websites.
Yes, we will.
Likely as a PDF. That would probably be the easiest way.
We will do that. Any other questions?
Let's see.
And let me
I see Chris Lashley has a question.
Hey,
All
everyone.
right, go ahead.
Chris Lashley here from StanTech. A couple quick questions. For the QAP preparation, I understand it has to be done before the project can start. The cost to prepare that QAP, can that be included in the request for funding as well?
Yes, you should include the effort to do the QAP as part of your budget. And your project can start if you don't have approved QAP, but you can't do any aspect of the project that involves any of the environmental data collection. So you can do any of the other preliminary non-QAP related stuff to gear up, like for your field season or whatever.
Okay.
It's
Thank you.
better if you can to have your QAP approved by the time your project starts, but sometimes it takes a few weeks after the project start by the whole thing is done, because EPA will often make a lot of comments on the QAP, and it gets sent back, and you have to address the comments. So there's a little bit of back and forth.
They can take quite a while, yeah.
Yes. So if any of you who are familiar with the process realize it can be a bit of a back and forth in a process. But we will provide more details about QAPs when with the full proposal guidance for those who are encouraged.
So not with the full proposal.
Quick question as well.
Well, let me clarify what Lane just said. Really, the QAP, we don't really give the guidance until your project's selected for funding. That's when, you don't have to do it till you're selected for funding. So it would be a burden to have you do it before, let me say.
I just had a couple quick questions to add on before you move to someone else. You mentioned the cost share details will be more at the full proposal stage, but we do have to provide the sources at the pre-proposal stage. Is there any restriction on what that cost share could look like?
Syma?
I would say that usually with cost share, and there is another question here from Kyle McKay, can non-federal funds be from in-kind contributions?
Oh, yeah.
And so I would say yes. And usually everyone is submitting through a university that has a sponsored program. They're the ones who are going to vet, because if there's an audit, they're the ones who are going to have to, track those in kind. And I would say, ask Sylvain if he wants to clarify that. But, the guidance on in kind is usually that it would flow through, the office that is managing your funding at your university or your institution. So
I would add that it has to be documentable and documented. It has to be approved by your institution, so that it has to be submitted along with invoices for
Okay.
reimbursement. If an invoice would come in without associated cost share documented, then it would not be paid until cost share is documented.
And the other thing I would add to that is with no cost extensions, we do ask the balance of both your share of that, your match, as well as what's remaining on your grant. So
Okay. Thank you.
we do have, so I think I've answered Kyle's. We have a letter from text. Do we need to provide letters of support from the end users for the pre-proposal, or just identification is fine? And I would say in the pre-proposal, there is no room for letters. So no, do not include
No
them.
letters of support.
Please do include them in your final full proposal if you're selected. So there, read through that template that's there. Do not add anything beyond what's requested in that template, but do make sure you complete everything that is requested in that template. We had some issues with that in our last cycle. So Stephen Baines has a question, has his hand up.
Yeah, just a quick question about what interdisciplinary means in this case. What classifies as interdisciplinary? Yeah, I think that's it. So you talk about these differences between the 250,000 level grants and the 1 million level grants. I'm just trying to understand what differentiates those.
I'm happy to answer that.
Okay.
It is not us you have to convince. It's a panel of peers. So we recommend that you be fairly explicit in order to convince a panel of peers that it is in the interdisciplinary. We convene review panels to review those proposals, and that's who you have to convince.
I guess the question is more like, how does it have to be? For example, environmental science includes this, chemistry can include biology, can include things like that. Does it have to be that? Does it have to extend into sociology and into social science issues for it to be interdisciplinary?
It's for you to make the case, but I would say that chemistry and biology, if you can make the case that you draw from expertise in chemistry and expertise in biology to address a question that is bigger than either of those fields would answer on their own, then that's a reasonable argument to make.
Could I add
Okay,
one
thanks.
thing that hasn't been stressed is that this call is open to both natural and social scientists. So whether or
Yeah.
not that's interdisciplinary and they have to work together is another question. It's fantastic if they do, but not required. But I just want to emphasize, because one of my colleagues had asked me to emphasize this, that, this call is open to social scientists. So I hope we have some of them out there.
Social science, physical science, and natural science researchers can apply. I just wanted to mention OSPs were brought up. Your pre-proposal does not have to be signed by your OSP office unless your institution requires it, which I don't think many do, but we don't require it. So I just wanted to add that. Jackie.
Yeah, so my question is back to the QAP thing, and what environmental data includes. Does that include data from experiments?
Yeah, environmental data is very broad. Basically, it includes social science information as well. So
Okay. So anything, any data, not just environmental data, any data.
yeah, you could look at it that way, but I don't think we've had to request a data management plan, but basically any data that involves a perception or sampling within the environment, would qualify.
Amber.
Yeah, hi. That was a little bit of my question as well. I know you said you're going to talk about that, the assurance project plan when we get to the full proposal stage, if we're so fortunate. But is there any way you could provide a little bit of information in terms of what that may look like? Because I'd like to be able to get a handle on it a little bit better in terms of what time commitment to incorporate into the budget for the pre-proposal.
It's a large time commitment, I'll just say. There is guidance on the EPA website. It's not something that New York and Connecticut Sea Grant have created. So this is kind of a pass-through requirement for you guys.
EPA requirement.
I could certainly, it would be spinning your wheels if you tried to make a co-op before you were selected for funding. Let me say this, but we can certainly make or the EPA has like guidance here and there on their website, at which we can, definitely provide links to.
Okay, great. Yeah, I can find that information as well, but that is very helpful. Thank you.
You can reach out to us if you want more information. Anybody can just send an email if you have specific questions or anything. That's fine.
And the other thing with co-ops is that, especially because this is, we've been doing it for like maybe the last 2 or 3 cycles. It's not really new. But, just having PIs who've gone through the co-op process is a really good, way. So if you have someone in your network who has received one of these or done a co-op, I urge you to reach out to them. And I've never done a co-op. I just like am the quality control officer kind of overseeing some of this. So Lane and I aren't even able to answer the kind of questions you might have, but maybe one of your colleagues could answer them better.
Just to add a little bit, the co-op has to be approved before you collect any data. There was a question earlier about what is data, right? What requires a co-op. I cannot imagine a research project that would not collect data, and therefore I cannot imagine a research project that would not require a co-op. And budget time for drafting the co-op and its approval, right? So I would not have a proposal that suggests that you would start collecting data in the first month of the project. So budget that time period for the drafting and the approval of the co-op as part of your study design.
So Ali has a question. Can you elaborate on the panel setup? Are they academics or state or government officials? So the pre-proposal panel consists of the Sea Grant directors, representatives from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, Connecticut Department of
Energy and Environmental Protection,
representative from EPA, it's the estuary program, I think.
Long Island. It might be the Long Island Sound Partnership.
Or the Long Island, or yes, EPA Long Island Sound Partnership. And I believe someone from the stack, right?
No.
No?
No, we get 3 externals too, who are independent and non-conflicted from outside institutions. Those institutions are almost always out, they're outside of Connecticut and New York. So we, try very hard to minimize conflicts of interest. And that's where those remaining reviewers. So it's actually a very large review panel that reviews these, I would suggest.
So 3 peers, DEC, Connecticut, Long Island Sound Partnership, and the Sea Grant directors.
So let me add to that a little bit. The emphasis on the pre-proposal is higher in the relevance. Therefore, a number of local people that would have a good idea of whether what you're proposing is relevant to Long Island Sound or not, with some external expertise that is more topical. Whereas at the full proposal level, if your project was not relevant, it would have been weeded out at the pre-proposal level. At the full proposal level, there's more emphasis on the technical merit of the proposal. So we get peer reviews from peers that are experts in the field, and then those peer reviews are reviewed by a panel that is composed of people with more heavy technical expertise and less of the local relevance.
Any other questions?
I don't see any.
All right, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through EC Grant. If those of you who haven't done that yet, and if you have questions along the way, Syma, just let me know. Let me do. This is it. Let's do my screen. Okay, so we gave you the save the date. So when you click the link to EC Grant, this is where you would come. You would click create an account. It's pretty straightforward. There's these 3 steps. You will be enter your first name, last name, affiliation. Click this. The next step is to your email address. You'll be sent a code. You'll submit your code. Then the next step is your cell phone. Again, you'll be texted a code. You submit the code. And then once you already have gone through, you'll be sent back to here. Once you've registered, you'll be sent back to here and you will log in. And then you'll use the email address that you submitted to create your account. I'm just going to use my dummy account that I created. Just you enter your password, click the I'm not a robot. There's no robots here, right? Okay, good. What did I do else? And then, of course, okay, I did the wrong CS. Did the wrong email. Sorry about that. Okay, so once you log in, this is where you'll end up. All funding opportunities. So you're now in EC Grant. Your name is going to be up here. And all the current funding opportunities are going to be open. They're broken down into these different kinds, research, fellowship, and whatnot. Currently, we have 2 open research, 2 RFP calls. We, as you can see here, there's a Great Lakes Basin Small Grants program that's currently open. And this is the one you're looking for right here, the 27-28 Long Island Sound Partnership pre-proposal. This is my dummy testing account. So you're not going to see this in progress. You're going to see just proposal not started and this add button. So once you're ready to upload your proposal, so you're gonna read through the RFP. You're gonna see that last page, which shows you all the components that you have to have. You're probably gonna do that in Word or whatever, and you're gonna save that as a PDF. You're gonna upload a PDF. You want to make sure your PDF is not it is readable. Sometimes it's a good idea to flatten your PDF file, and the way to do that is to take your PDF that you made from, say, your Word document and do print to PDF and then save it as a PDF and then upload that file. That's usually it's called flatten. It's less complicated. It's smaller file and usually less issues. I recommend just kind of scrolling through that file and make sure there's no issues, especially if you have like formatting issues. You might want to try sending it to another computer and opening it just to be sure. But when you're ready, you sign in and you click add, and then you just copy the title of your proposal, and it doesn't have to be the whole thing. It just be the first few words of the proposal of the project title. So, and then you click continue. All right. Since I already have one open because it's a test, it throws this up, but you're just going to go directly into this, and then you'll be brought here where it says start here. Eric, you have a question.
Yeah, I've just tried to do this, and I was unable to. It said that there was a problem completing the registration. Please contact your program administrator. Just so you know, there may be a glitch in the system. I did check carefully to see that the password that I was using had all the didn't include any prohibited special characters.
Okay,
It
and
has
was it
numbers, it has symbols, it has uppercase and lowercase letters. So I think it satisfies all the criteria.
how many characters?
14.
Okay.
I think
And
it followed the rules.
all right. Well, maybe we'll work on that with you then.
Okay.
We'll see
All
what's
right.
going on.
Yep. All right. Thanks a lot.
So you're here. This is your where you see start here. This is already filled in. This is the project start, the initiation. If you're only doing a 1-year project, then you'd put 12/31/27, and everything looks fine. So you click next. And this is a checklist to make sure that you know that you have everything, because if you're missing any of these, your pre-proposal will not be reviewed. And so you want to make sure that you have all of these. And there's the link to the RFP, and there's the link to the CCMP for your convenience. And you just make sure you have all of these, and you need to check these off. So make sure you have these. The last piece is optional. Just check if you're providing suggested peer reviewers or not. And then you click save, click OK, and then you want to mark this part as complete. You always want to do that, and then you click next. And this is where you would actually upload your file. So you fill out your first and last name, your email, and your affiliation. Phone is optional. You click on select the file, and you get your your typical Windows file selection. You click on the file and you click that and you click save. And then there's your file, but you're not done yet. You click mark as complete and go to next. And then once you're here, you review, and then you click this button, and not until you click that button, and this changes from not submitted to submitted. Not until you do that is your pre-proposal submitted. So you would click that. Do you want to submit your proposal? You click submit. You get the confirmation, and it says submitted. So now you're complete, and you will get a confirmation email, and you're all set, and you've submitted your proposal. You can go back to the beginning. Now you see here that this is says edit or delete, so you can stop at any point, log back in and return to it. You can come back and edit something if you want to, so you can click here. There's really not a whole lot in this process. You're just checking off and you're just submitting. So we try to make it as simple as possible. But if you discover that your pre-proposal has a mistake in it, or you accidentally uploaded the wrong file or whatever, you can come back and delete any of these. You can just delete that and delete it, and it's deleted, and then you can start over and just click add and go through the whole thing again and upload a new file. So long as you do it before the deadline, it doesn't matter. And if you delete the previous one, that eliminates any potential for confusion. You just delete it, you click delete, it's gone, and then you come back and you start again. Any questions on that? Hopefully, there's not any issues. Well, if you have issues, we'll try to figure out what's happening, but it should work. This is the first time we're doing EC grant, so it's a new thing. For those of you who submitted previously, we had a different method, and this is new. Any questions? All right. So I'm going to log out. You just click here to log out. So here is the link to the main page on New York Sea Grant's website for the RFP. This gives you the background of the RFP, but here is the link to EC Grant. Here is the link to download the RFP. This is a link for the announcement, which is basically this material here. This is a link to download the EC Grant quick guide. Just goes over what I just went through with you. And this is the link to the Long Island Sound Partnership, CCMP, and a link to the Long Island Sound Partnership. So this is the Long Island Sound Partnership website, lipartnership.org. It's worth going to. This is the CCMP. This link here brings you here, and this is the CCMP. You can either view, you can download or view the PDF. Use the flipbook or the PDF, and here's the different sections. One of the sections that you're going to want to pay attention to is Appendix B, which is the objective and action technical explanations. That's going to guide your pre-proposal writing, and that's here. This is all the objectives and action items listed here, and it goes through in detail what all the objectives and action items are. You're going to use this to guide the development of your project. So we have objective 1, which is CWHW1 nutrients, and it gives you some background. And after the background, it goes through different actions.
Sasha?
Yes. Who has a question? Syma, you're muted, Syma.
And we had another person who tried to register and they were unable to. So there might be a little glitch in there. I actually did register also. I reviewed it, so I was able to do it, but
well, I'm going to register another dummy account and see what's going on, and we'll try to get that fixed. But thanks for letting me know. So each objective.
Oh, I think, you know what? Sorry, Lean. I think another person just said the code wasn't sent, but I think maybe try looking in your spam folder.
Yeah, try
you know,
spam.
there is a code you'll have to put back. So I'm just going to say check your spam or junk folder. or make sure that, you can receive these type of things. And then Eric said he tried again and with a shorter password of 10 characters and he was able to do it. So maybe try shorter passwords. Maybe there's a difference between the instructions and the parameter of the password.
Yeah, yeah, a 10 is a good amount to try. So try that if you have a problem. So back to Appendix B. So each objective has different actions, and each action has a action description. And you probably want to read through these bullets because for your project, you could choose multiple actions and in multiple objectives, but probably one or more of these bullets might be applicable to research. So you could probably pick out a bullet from one action and combine it with a bullet from another action, or a couple of bullets from under these actions and design a project.
So
So,
Lane, could I just say that one of the things about like aligning with the CCMP is you don't have to align with every, every theme.
right.
In fact, sometimes if you spread yourself very thin, that can be, problematic. So really try to just see where you are aligning with and you can just have one, that is fine. I just want to put that out there. You don't have to have multiple.
A word of advice, the more focused your project is, the better it is. It's better to have fewer objectives and target fewer things unless you're trying to do something big. You're asking for a 250 and then you're trying to do that. If you're not, it's better to be focused. Try to be as focused as possible unless you're going for the big project. So this is important to just go through. There's all these uh, each goal has multiple objectives. So we have clean waters, healthy watersheds with different objectives, and there's a lot of detail here. And you want to look at all the objectives and all the actions and the bullet points under each action. And so as you can see, there's many objectives for each goal. So we have clean waters. The next objective is thriving habitats and abundant wildlife. And we have the objective of coastal habitat with multiple actions. Offshore habitat for objective 2 with multiple actions. And then, so let's see. As you can see, there's multiple goals, multiple objectives under each goal. And then the third goal is sustainable and resilient communities. And then you can see the multiple objectives and actions for there. And then the final goal is informed and engaged public, and the objectives under there. So you want to go through this fairly carefully and see which objectives and actions you can address for a research project. And these bullets will help you kind of fine tune things because this kind of lists what they want to accomplish. We are Sea grant programs have to report to EPA, and we're kind of graded on how we address the CCMP through all of this. You will see that each of these actions have performance measures, and we have to report on these performance measures. Only some of these performance measures are applicable to research, and some are very applicable to research. Your project can be under different goals, different objectives, different action items. So be careful on how you choose it and how you design things. So I think that's it for me. Any other questions?
So it seems like someone said that a 14-character password did work, but there are no questions. So We'll have to investigate this password.
Yeah, pay attention to what it says on what symbols you can use. It might choke on certain symbols, so either try a different symbol. I would only just put one, and maybe no more than 10. If you continue to have issues, just email Syma or me, probably me, because I'm the one dealing with EC grants. So send me an email. We'll do the best we can.
Yeah.
So yeah. Any other questions or comments? If you feel that there's if we can improve on this, you have any suggestions on improving on this, please send me an email. Your comments are welcome. And remember to check your spam folder.
Yeah. Check spam.
And thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
I appreciate it. We went over a little, I think, but thanks for staying with us. And good luck with writing your pre-proposal. Good luck submitting. We appreciate your interest, and we hope you have a nice weekend and stay home and stay off the roads. And just let us know if we can help you out in any way, and any comments on how to improve the webinar or the process is welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Lane.